Hello and welcome to Darkhaven Lore. This is another community chosen video here on Darkhaven, something I am very passionate about. The community section on my channel will always have an opportunity for you to direct the content in a way you would like, so do check it out. And lastly, if you like these types of video, then please do like and subscribe. This video is about the Old Ones, an ancient, intelligent and near godlike star-travelling race. They served as the mysterious shaping hand of the world in the truly ancient history of Warhammer fantasy lore. Not only did the Old Ones create the world's current geography and climate, but also sapient races to inhabit it: elves, dwarfs, lizardmen, ogres, giants and halflings. The Old Ones did this in an effort to create a world capable of opposing and even fighting back against the threat of chaos. The coming of the Old Ones. Long before chaos came to the world, in a time before elves, dwarfs or men, the land was ruled by titanic monsters. These enormous creatures battled for dominance, and the warmest regions, those nearest the equatorial band, became the most highly contested zones. Some of these life forms were unthinking creatures of pure instinct. Others were established civilizations that rose and fell in that forgotten age. Of that time of eternal twilight, there is little knowledge, although buried ruins and descendant creatures still remain. Into this brutal age came a mysterious race of godlike beings that plied the heavens in silvered ships. These strangers, known as the Old Ones, came from beyond the stars, where they ruled an empire that spanned not just the cosmos, but time itself. Their technology was advanced beyond imagination. To them, astrology and astronomy, science and magic were all one and the same. Each world in the Old Ones' empire was linked by a gateway. Some were small portals, allowing an individual to travel inconceivable distances with but a single step. Others, often situated in the cold void of space, were portals so large that vessels the size of moons could pass through. In their travels across this endless expanse of the universe, one planet caught their eye, for they saw in it a unique and boundless potential. The Old Ones decreed that this world would have a central place in their unknowable plans, and stellar gates at either pole were created to allow easy access to this hopeful new colony. Before the designs for their newest planet could be fully set in motion, the Old Ones had to reshape it to better fit their needs. Using powers beyond mortal comprehension, they shifted the planet's orbit towards the warming sun. In time, the ice sheets retreated, verdant forests soon growing to cover over the newly revealed land. The Old Ones created servants to tend to their needs. Thus was the first spawning of the Slan mage priests begun. They were the Grand Viziers, trusted creatures of prodigious intellect, and the only beings able to withstand direct contact with the near omnipotent Old Ones and comprehend their teachings. It was the Slan who were to guide the lesser races whose creation would soon follow. For upon the world, the Old Ones had encountered many primitive creatures, including those that would one day be transformed into the first elves, dwarfs, and men. Powerful and far-sighted, the Old Ones could shape new life forms even from these imperfect materials. They did, however, encounter some creatures whose existence was incompatible with their future plans. As the climate warmed, the Saurus were created to destroy these anomalies, and soon vast armies marched to war, a fight to eradicate those native races that needed to be removed. The Old Ones frequently used the polar gateways to travel the cosmos, but in the meantime they created further spawnings of Slan to execute their plans. While the Saurus brought order to the world with their brutal campaigns of destruction, greater projects were undertaken. By command of the Old Ones, the Slan established the rainforest temple cities in the region that would one day become Lustria. The skinks were the technicians and the overseers. It was their role to direct the beasts of burden to haul and heft the heavy loads. In this manner, the lizardmen built fabulous structures that rose high above the steaming jungles. The Old One's instructions to the Slan were very specific as to the locations where the temple cities and the many other architectural wonders were constructed across the globe. Each one was raised up purposefully to form a vital nexus in a world-spanning geomantic web, an interlinked matrix of natural earth energy that encompassed the planet. Each site was linked to the next, and the Old Ones were able to draw upon the vast reservoir of energy to manipulate untold devices and enchantments of great power. The Slan mage priests were also able to tap into the geomantic web, and with its energies they could shift continents and further aid the unknowable plans of the Old Ones. So long as each link remained connected, they could be used to telepathically communicate with one another over vast distances. As so often is the case, this wonderful period in history was soon beset by tragedy. All was not well with the world. Distressing signs began to manifest outside the gateways at the planet's poles. They were but portals to another dimension, and it was from there that trouble arose. In the swirling madness of that otherworldly realm, nascent beings stirred, malign intelligences that resented the Old One's trespasses. Disaster came suddenly, whether due to enemy attacks or structural failure. The Old One's great polar gates, the means by which they traversed the stars, collapsed. The eldritch machineries of the gates crashed down upon the world in a burning hail of star metal. Simultaneously, the poles of the world imploded, opening rifts into the beyond. Chaos spewed forth from the spirit realm. Meteors of congealed magic, a substance known as warpstone, left weirdling contrails that set the skies aflame. The planet shuddered under thunderous impacts, with some meteorites burrowing like animals, gnawing deep into the world's foundation. A layer of warpstone dust was cast into the air, its mutating properties causing untold atrocities. Across the globe, the seas churned and the forest canopies shook, convulsing with grotesque growth. Where the northern gateway had once been, there now throbbed a second moon, a green satellite made of pure warpstone. More Slaib. Many cries were lifted to that stickly orb as hideously twisted creatures were born, howling in their agony. As the portals collapsed, the Old Ones disappeared, their fate unknown. Yet the disaster could have been worse if the Old One's most powerful servants, the Slan, had not staved off complete destruction by sealing much more of the rent in reality. So great was the strain of that undertaking that half of their number was slain, their brains melted by the madness of chaos. Despite their sacrifice, the Slan could only shrink the gap. They could neither close it nor stem the tide of magical energy that swept the planet. The Old Ones were gone, and the lizardmen and the fledgling races were now abandoned before a new and terrifying foe. After the disappearance of the Old Ones, as the Slan withdrew into their own cerebral worlds, the skink priests, the most intelligent of their kind, became the daily leaders of the lizardmen. It was their ceaseless industry that restored the temple cities, rebuilding everything for which they had architectural plans. It was they who ordered the overgrown jungle cut back to develop the roads between temple cities. And so, over the years, the lizardmen, once the most advanced civilization to walk the world, regressed to a primitive state. The Old Ones took on the aspect of distant gods, worshipped by the lizardmen and called upon in their times of need by the skinks. they began to make bloody sacrifices to attract the attention of their missing gods. The relics that they collected upon the orders of the Slan were held in wonder, all hope of understanding the technology of their function lost, replaced with superstitious ceremony and ritual. Those few madmen in the old world that know of the existence of the Old Ones claim that in their prime they transcended even the divine powers of the gods of the old world, and even those of the dark gods of chaos, as they existed before the divine had fully awakened. They claimed this first amongst all races could summon and bind the gods to do their bidding, and their actions, deliberate and otherwise, had sculpted the formless void into what would become the womb of all deities. The Old Ones may well still be out there, or lost to time. It is not known, and highly likely that us foolish mortals would even be able to comprehend what, or where, or when they are. I for one enjoyed reading about them at least, and it won't be the last time I engage with them here at Darkhaven, I'm sure. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and goodbye.